Oh, gather around, my dear friends, for I have a tale to tell. A tale of love, of courage, of a young man whose wealth could buy him the world, but whose heart yearned for something far more precious. Come close, let the words flow into your heart as we journey to the town of Niru. In the grand town of Niru, where the golden sun kissed the rooftops and the scent of roasted maize danced in the air, there lived a young man named Jabari. But Jabari was no ordinary man. He was the son of the wealthiest merchant in the land, heir to a fortune that could clothe the whole town in silk and fill the streets with gold. His family owned caravans that traveled across the lands, ships that crossed great waters, and houses with gates so tall they touched the clouds. Servants bowed when he passed, and people whispered his name with awe and envy. Yet, for all his riches, Jabari's heart was empty. He had tasted every delicacy, worn the finest garments, and been offered the hands of noble daughters, but none stirred his soul. Jabari would often sit on his high balcony, staring down at the world below. He would watch the children playing in the dusty alleys, hear the distant hum of the market, and see lovers walking hand in hand. In his chest, something stirred, a longing for a connection unchained by gold or status. Until one fateful morning, the marketplace of Nehru bustled like a beehive. Drummers played rhythms that made feet move on their own. Sellers shouted prices, spices perfumed the air, and laughter echoed like music. Among the sea of colors and sounds was a girl with a basket on her head. A girl named Abony. She was no ordinary vendor. Abony sold bananas, ripe, golden, fragrant bananas that looked kissed by the sun itself. But it was not her fruits that drew eyes, it was her. Her laughter rang like the songs of birds at dawn, and her smile could melt the hardest heart. With each step, her colorful dress swayed, and her joy spread like fire through dry grass. Men paused to watch her, women admired her spirit, children ran to her for sweet treats. And Jabari, the richest man's son, stood frozen. His eyes followed her, and in that moment, gold and silver meant nothing. He saw something no wealth could buy. Day after day, he returned to the marketplace. Not for silk, not for spices, but to catch a glimpse of Abony. He watched her dance between customers, her laughter like a charm. And every morning, his heart whispered, "Go to her." One day, he could wait no longer. He dressed in a robe of deep blue embroidered with golden lions, wore sandals from the east, and placed a ring of pure sapphire on his finger. But even surrounded by wealth, his heart trembled. He walked to where she stood, and with a voice as soft as morning rain, he said, "Abony, your smile brightens the market more than the sun itself. May I buy all your bananas today?" Abony tilted her head and looked at him, her eyes playful. "You can buy them, yes. But tell me, will you eat them all, sir?" Jabari chuckled, heart racing. "Perhaps not. But I wish to see you smile a little longer." From that day on, Jabari became her most loyal customer. He bought her entire basket each morning, then handed the bananas to children and the elderly as he strolled the market, always staying near her. He listened to her stories, helped her carry her basket, and sometimes sat beside her stall to peel bananas and laugh. The marketplace knew. Oh, they knew. Whispers followed them. The rich man's son had fallen for the banana seller. But love was not so easily won. Abony was kind, yes. Grateful, yes. But she did not trust easily. She had seen many men with shiny shoes and empty words. She had seen promises made and broken. Jabari, to her, was still just a rich man in fine clothes. She feared he wanted her only as a passing fancy, a story to impress his friends. She kept him at a distance, smiling politely but never leaning closer. Jabari struggled. Each day he tried something new. He told her stories, brought her books, asked her about her dreams. He visited her family's old home and helped repair the roof. He brought her a young mango tree to plant behind her house. He did not speak of love. He did not rush. He just remained. He even began going to the market in simple clothes, trying to blend in, trying to show that he was more than his worth. He wore no jewelry. He walked on foot. And when asked why the son of the great merchant now wore sandals like the rest, he answered simply, "Because today, I came to buy bananas, not respect." The market vendors gossiped. They whispered behind baskets and laughed. "The rich man is lovesick," said the tomato seller. "He buys bananas but never eats them," chuckled the fishmonger. "He's lost in her smile," teased the cloth lady. Still, Jabari came. Every day. Rain or shine. Until one evening, as the sun painted the sky with fire, Abony asked, "Why do you keep coming, Jabari?" He replied softly, "Because your presence teaches me how to live. And your heart is worth more than every coin I own." And then came the day that changed everything. It was market day again, and the air was especially vibrant. Drums echoed from the center square, the smell of roasted plantain and spices filled the air, and children ran laughing between stalls. Jabari stood near Abony's stall, dressed plainly, a single flower tucked behind his ear, a sunflower, her favorite. But today, his heart could no longer hold its secret. He climbed onto an empty wooden crate, drawing the attention of everyone nearby. Some paused with baskets in hand, others leaned closer, curious. Abony looked up from arranging her bananas, her brows furrowed in confusion. Then Jabari raised his arms and, with a voice loud enough to reach the farthest corners of the market, he shouted, "People of Ndiru, I am Jabari, son of Olumo the great merchant. I have riches beyond measure, but none of them matter. Because I have fallen in love with this woman." Abony, the banana seller. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "I do not love her because of her beauty, though she is radiant. I do not love her because of her smile, though it lights the darkest days. I love her because she is real. She is kind, honest, fearless. She is everything I am not, and everything I hope to be." A silence fell. Then a slow clap came from the back. Then another. And another. Soon, the whole market was cheering. Abony stood frozen. Her eyes were wide, her lips parted. Then slowly, she walked toward him. Jabari stepped down, his heart pounding. She looked into his eyes and said, "That was brave, foolish, but brave." He smiled. "So, is that a yes?" Abony chuckled. "That is a beginning." The crowd erupted in laughter and applause. And so, under the sun of Niru, among baskets of fruit and whispers of wonder, the rich man's love became the market's favorite story. The sun rose over Niru with a golden glow, lighting the stalls and rooftops with promise. But not all promises are sweet. As Jabari walked through the narrow paths of the morning market, his tailored robes brushing against fruit baskets and woven mats, whispers followed him like shadows. "There he goes," one woman hissed behind her hand, "the rich man who thinks love can be bought with silver." Another snorted, "Buying bananas every day just to look at a poor girl. Who does he think he is?" But Jabari did not flinch. He walked straight to Abony's store, heart pounding louder than the drumming rain the night before. "Morning," he said, smiling. Abony glanced at him, eyebrows raised. "Bananas again, sir?" "Yes," he said. "Only yours." She gave a small laugh, shaking her head as she packed the ripest fruits. "You're making a habit out of this." He leaned in slightly. "Maybe I just want to see your smile." That made her freeze. For a moment. Then, slowly, she handed him the bananas. "No extra charge for flattery," she said softly. Behind them, the market buzzed louder. Old men washed. Young girls whispered. Children pointed. Everyone saw. And everyone talked. But Jabari didn't care. Every day, he came back. Until one day, he didn't just come to buy. It was a market day like any other. until it wasn't. The stalls bustled. Drums beat from a distance. Merchants shouted deals to passing buyers. Fish sizzled over fires. Color danced in cloth and baskets. Then, Jabari climbed a wooden crate in the center of the square. He raised both hands. "People of Ndiru," he shouted. Heads turned. Mouths paused. Even the goats stopped chewing. "I am Jabari, son of Otieno," he declared. "And I am in love." Gasps. Some laughed. Some blinked. "I am in love with a girl who sells bananas in this very market. Her name is Abony. Her smile is brighter than the morning sun. Her voice steadier than my own thoughts. And her courage humbles me." Abony froze at her store, color draining from her cheeks. "Many think I am mad," he continued. "They say I should marry riches, not roots. But love, true love, does not ask where you sleep or what you wear. It only asks who you are when no one is watching." A silence blanketed the market. Then a wave of murmurs. "He's serious. He loves her. Is this real?" Abony stepped forward. She walked slowly through the crowd, heart thundering like a war drum. Jabari jumped down, eyes locked with hers. She looked at him. At his trembling hands. At the man who stood before the world with no shame in loving her. And she smiled. Only one word left her lips. "Foolish." But then, she took his hand. And the market exploded with cheers. But not everyone clapped. From the shadows, Chief Omoka watched. His eyes narrowed. This was not over. Because the trials were about to begin. 2 nights after the trial of honor, the town of Ndiru held its breath again. This time, they gathered not in the market, but in the dark arms of the forest, before the whispering caves. A place where even the bravest men spoke in whispers. A place where truth stripped the soul bare. Torches hissed in the wind. Shadows danced like spirits on the trees. Elders formed a circle near the cave's mouth, faces grim, robes swaying. Chief Omoka raised his staff. Its crystal tip glowed blue. "This," he said, voice like thunder, "is the trial of spirit. No strength of muscle will help her here. She must walk this path alone. In the dark. In the silence. To face the spirit of the mirror, who shows not what you wish to be, but what you are." The people stared. Jabari stepped forward. "Let me go with her." Omoka turned to him slowly. Even love cannot follow into the cave. Her heart must stand alone. Abony looked into Jabari's eyes and smiled gently. "I will return." "Oh. Or not at all." She took a candle. Whispered a prayer. And without looking back, stepped into the cave. Darkness swallowed her. The cave was not quiet. It breathed. Low and slow, like a beast waiting. The walls whispered. Names. Secrets. Regrets. Her candle flickered. Shadows stretched long and strange. She walked deeper. Every step echoing like a heartbeat. Then, silence. She had reached the chamber. The space glowed with a strange blue light. Crystals humming on the walls. In the center was a pool. Still. Silent. Waiting. She leaned in. And gasped. The water reflected her, but not her as she knew. Her eyes were colder. Her smile twisted. Arms crossed, face full of scorn. The spirit of the mirror had arrived. You wear kindness like a mask, the reflection said. But beneath it, what simmers? Anger. Pride. Jealousy. I try to be good, Abony whispered. But I am not perfect. The spirit laughed. You hated those who mocked you. Wished the rich to suffer. Even Jabari's father, you prayed he would fall. Tears burned down her cheeks. I did, she said. But I never let those thoughts rule me. I feed the good in me, not the darkness. I rise each day to be better than yesterday. The spirit's face changed. The cruelty softened. The arms uncrossed. Then you are not weak, it said. You are true. The water shimmered, and the reflection vanished. A warm light filled the cave. A soft voice echoed, she has faced her truth, and it did not break her. She turned and ran. Her candle now burned brighter than ever before. She burst from the cave as the third drum struck. Gasps. Cheers. The people surged forward. She made it, someone cried. Jabari ran to her, wrapping her in his arms. What did you see? She looked up, breathless. Myself, she whispered. And I still chose to love me. Even Chief Omoka bowed his head. She has passed the second trial. But just as the market rejoiced, just as hope returned to the young lover's eyes, the elder raised his staff once more. The final trial is near, he said, voice grave. The trial of wisdom. And in this trial, the buried truth will rise. One that may break more than hearts. One that may change everything. 3 days passed after the trial of spirit. The village of Ndiru, once filled with chatter and cheers, now waited in uneasy silence. The skies turned grey, and even the birds seemed to sing softer, as if they too knew the final trial would not be like the others. At the center of the village stood a tall baobab tree, ancient and wide. Beneath it, a single stool had been placed. In front of it sat a table of 3 items, a golden mask, a wrapped scroll, and a bowl of soil. Chief Omoka stood before the people. This is the trial of wisdom, he declared. A trial not of strength, not of heart, but of truth and choices. One must see through deception. One must answer not with power, but with clarity. He turned to Abony. You will be given a question. One question only. Your answer will decide not only your fate, but the fate of your love. Jabari stepped forward. Then I will take the trial too. The chief raised a brow. Wisdom is often tested in silence. Are you ready to be humbled? Jabari nodded. I am. Abony and Jabari sat side by side beneath the baobab. The elder held the scroll and read aloud. There is a secret between you. A secret neither of you knows. One truth has been hidden from both your eyes. To pass this trial, you must each guess what that truth is. If you are right, you both live as one. If you are wrong, you must walk separate paths. Gasps echoed. What kind of trial is this? Someone muttered. Jabari stared at the ground. Abony stared at the sky. A secret. One they didn't know. Their minds raced. Abony spoke first. I believe the secret is about me, she said. Something in my past. Something I forgot. She turned to the chief. Is it that I'm not who I think I am? Chief Omoka gave no answer. Jabari clenched his fist. His voice cracked. Or is it that I'm the son of the man who once ruined her family? Abony looked at him sharply. What do you mean? Jabari stood. My father. Otieno, years ago, he drove small traders out of this market to build his empire. I once overheard the elders speak. They said a woman named Malika fought back, but lost everything. Abony's breath caught. Malika was my mother. A wave of silence washed over the crowd. So that's the secret, she whispered. That your family destroyed mine. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Jabari fell to his knees. I swear to you, Abony. I didn't know. But now that I do, I won't run from it. Chief Omoka stepped forward. He raised the scroll once more. You have spoken the truth, but it is only half the secret. Gasps rang again. There is more. Abony asked. The chief turned to the sky, his voice low. The rest must come from one who has held silence for too long. From behind the baobab, a figure emerged. An old woman. Bent but steady. Abony's eyes widened. Grandmother. The woman nodded, her eyes full of tears. I have watched and waited. I was told never to speak. But today, silence is a curse. She turned to the people. Abony is not only my granddaughter, she is the child of Otieno's brother. Everyone froze. What? Jebori whispered. She is your cousin, the old woman said. Born of love, hidden out of shame. The crowd erupted. No, Abony gasped. Jebori stepped back, eyes wide in horror. But, we? Chief Omoka raised his staff. The truth is not to break you. It is to guide you. He turned to the couple. You now carry the weight of legacy and choice. What will you do with it? The fire crackled. The wind howled. The whole village leaned in. Abony closed her eyes. And when she opened them, tears fell freely. I love him, she whispered. But love must not break what is sacred. She stepped back and turned away. Jebori watched her go. He didn't stop her. Because true wisdom is knowing when to let go. The air grew heavy with the weight of the old woman's revelation. The crowd stood still, every face filled with a mixture of disbelief, fear, and curiosity. The wind carried the faint scent of jasmine from the distant trees, but it offered no comfort. In the center of the gathering, Jebori stood frozen, unable to speak, his mind racing. The woman, Abony's grandmother, her back slightly bent with age, continued to speak, her voice carrying the secrets of years long buried. Abony's family, she said, her eyes locking onto Jebori's, was torn apart by your father's actions. He did not just take land from them. He took lives. Lives that were unjustly lost because of greed and arrogance. Your family, Jebori, took everything from us, including the love Abony's mother once shared with your father. Jebori's heart pounded in his chest. He looked at Abony, who stood beside him, her hands trembling. But I didn't know, Jebori stammered. My father, he never spoke of it, did he? The old woman interrupted, her gaze piercing. He never told you that the fortune he built was stained with the blood of innocent people. And now, that blood has come to collect. Abony's grandmother's words cut deep, like a knife that had been hidden in the dark, only now to be thrust into the light. Jebori looked at Abony, whose face was pale, her eyes wide in shock and grief. A part of him wanted to shield her, but he knew now, that the truth could not be hidden any longer. Chief Omoka stepped forward, his eyes narrowed with solemn understanding. Jebori, he said softly, his voice heavy with the weight of generations, this is the truth you must face. It is not the love you thought you shared that will define your future, but the choices made in the past. Abony's family has been wronged, and now, the question is, will you stand with her, or will you turn your back on the sins of your father? Jebori swallowed, his throat dry. Every part of him wanted to deny the truth, to say that he wasn't responsible for his father's actions. But deep inside, he felt the weight of the blood his family had shed. He had inherited not just wealth, but guilt, a shadow cast by a man he never truly knew. Abony stepped forward, her face a mixture of sadness and resolve. Jebori, she said, her voice steady despite the pain in her eyes, you are not your father. I have never blamed you for his sins. But you must face this truth. You cannot erase what has been done, but you can choose how you move forward. The love we have is real, Jebori, but we cannot build a future on the lies of the past. The words hit Jebori like a wave crashing against a cliff. For the first time, he saw the depth of Abony's strength. She had already chosen to face the truth, no matter how much it hurt. And now, he had to do the same. He turned to the crowd, the villagers who had gathered for the trial. He could feel their eyes on him, judging, waiting. The weight of their expectations bore down on him, but it was nothing compared to the weight of Abony's gaze, filled with a hope that he knew he couldn't betray. Jabari stepped forward and knelt at Abony's feet, his head bowed in apology. "I was born with riches," he said, his voice raw with emotion, "but I was also born with ignorance. I never knew the pain my father caused. I never understood the depth of the wrongs he did to your family. But I know now, and I will not hide from it. I swear to you, Abony, that I will make things right." The crowd murmured in surprise. No one had expected this. Even Chief Omoka nodded in approval, though his expression remained stoic. Abony, her heart breaking but her spirit unshaken, bent down and helped Jabari to his feet. She placed a hand on his shoulder. "Your heart speaks the truth," she said, "but it is your actions that will prove it. Let us stand together and face the future." Abony's grandmother watched them both, her eyes softening. "The future is not written in gold, Jabari. It is written in the choices you make and the love you nurture. You have been given a chance to change the legacy of your family. Will you rise to meet it?" Jabari nodded. The weight that had burdened him for so long seemed to lift, replaced by a new sense of purpose. He turned to Abony, taking her hand in his, and together, they faced the gathered villagers. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a pale light over the village. The drums that had echoed through the trial now beat with a different rhythm, a rhythm of unity, of healing, of hope. Chief Omoka raised his staff once more, his voice carrying across the night. "The trials are complete. Jabari and Abony have faced the truths that bind them. Their love has been tested, and their hearts have chosen the path of wisdom and integrity." The crowd erupted in applause. Some cheered, others nodded with respect, but all of them knew that something had changed, something profound. The trials had not just tested love, they had tested the very essence of truth, of justice, and of the strength to overcome the past. Jabari and Abony stood together, their hands intertwined, their hearts no longer burdened by the shadows of history. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger for it. The future was theirs to shape, and they knew that no matter the challenges ahead, they would face them as one. And so, the story of Jabari and Abony, of the rich man and the humble banana seller, became a tale that would be told for generations to come. A story not just of love, but of redemption, of facing the truth, and of choosing to build a future that would rise above the mistakes of the past.